Hi, welcome to Trailside Chat with Mindy and Jac. I'm Mindy.
I'm Jac.
And today we want to talk to you guys about getting out the door. It is the cold winter months, and not sure where you guys live, but we live in the Northwest, and it's a very gray, cold, and dreary a lot of the time.
It is sunny today.
Yeah, today it's gorgeous,
it's nice.
Not raining on us, but yesterday we had snow, which is kind of a treat. You know, like growing up in Michigan.
Yeah.
Snow was just there all the time,
right?
Like 9 months out of the year.
Yep.
And here we don't get a lot of snow, especially snow that sticks.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a treat. It's novel again.
Yes. I don't know. I would say it was a treat. But
that's not to say I like it. I mean, I've gotten soft since leaving Michigan.
I know. So have I. Jeez.
Yeah. So, you know, I think back to days at Northern, and I would get up at absurd hours and go running.
Yeah.
Go to track practice. We're running in the dark, in blizzards.
We had like track practice at like 6 sometimes.
I know. We did. And, you know, it was
crazy.
I can't say that I remember liking all of that, but I did it, and did it for 6 years living there.
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to know what I thought about lately? I have never used like Yak Tracks when I was running in college.
I never did either. I still don't own them.
Yeah, I have some because when I was running in Kodiak, it was like ice, but like I didn't have them, and we did workouts on like a snow-covered trail. Like I'm like, how did that work?
I remember running along Lakeshore.
Yeah,
you know, the bike path or whatever, and just trucking along.
Right.
So getting up, obviously we had a different sense of motivation back then because we were expected to show up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Rain, snow, or shine. But what keeps you motivated these days to get out the door? What are your tricks you use?
Mostly it's just kind of checking the weather and then dressing appropriately for that weather. Again,
that is the ticket.
Yes. Again, we both said, like, I feel like I'm a lot more wimpy, which also makes me a lot better planner now. Like, I'm like, instead of being like, I'm gonna freeze, I'm like, I'll bring a change of clothes. Like, I'll be prepared. That's what the best I can do now.
There is no bad weather, just poor planning and poor clothing choices.
Yes.
And I think you at least have a little bit more flexibility in your days than I do, so you probably see the daylight a lot more than I do.
Yes, I do.
For me, it's typically dark when I'm driving to work and dark when I'm driving home from work.
Right.
So that really sucks. There's probably one day a week or so that I'll go running in the dark after work or something, but typically it's when Steve and I can coordinate and go together. I don't really like running on the trails by myself in the dark.
Yeah.
But I have this really awesome flashing vest. You've probably seen them advertised on Instagram or something, but it's like glow sticks but battery operated. And
those
it's like I'm wearing
ones.
Yeah. Okay. It's like I'm wearing a disco.
Yeah.
Awesome. Definitely everybody needs one of those.
Yeah.
Definitely having appropriate layers, I think, is key. Yeah. I like to always start warm and cozy and then shed layers. That's my preference. Other people like to be brave out the door and wear fewer layers. But what would you say your key pieces of attire or tools are that you use?
Yeah, I would say definitely a raincoat, because even if it's not rainy, it's nice to have just like a layer against like the wind.
Yeah, totally.
And like you said, you can always take it off. You don't have to like wear it the whole time. And then a really good like base layer, something synthetic, that's gonna keep you warm and like nice, soft next to your skin.
Oh, so you mean like cotton sweatpants?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a joke.
Yeah, don't wear cotton. Interesting fact though, like cotton t-shirts in the hot weather, if they're soaking wet, are one of the best things to cool you down.
Really?
Interestingly enough.
Oh.
But not obviously that's the opposite for the wintertime.
Yeah.
That'll make you the coldest. So yeah, and then definitely want to have like gloves, like covering your hands, especially if you're running like long distances, it keeps your temperature regulated a lot better. I don't know why that is, but even when I'm kind of warm and I'm running on trail, I'll still keep my gloves on just because it's like the circulation of, I don't know, centrifugal motion or whatever it is, but it's just like it will keep your whole core temp warm too.
Yeah.
So there's like the two things. I generally do wear pants even if I'm a little bit warm too, but that's just me now. If I was younger, or like running harder, I would definitely wear shorts still, even if it was a little bit warmer.
90% of the time we show up to run together, I'm dressed for a blizzard and Jackie's dressed for the beach. So
yeah, so I guess maybe don't take my advice.
I'm like,
yes.
Okay, ready to go, Jackie? Let's go.
Yeah.
And then 3.5 minutes later, I'm stripped down naked.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. So what are your go-to pieces?
Definitely a lightweight jacket, and I like to layer. So I usually wear like a base layer tank top of some sort, and then a long sleeve, and then a jacket. So I have lots of options.
Yeah.
I have a couple different weights of jackets. So one more windbreaker-esque if it's not super rainy, and then one that is a little bit heavier weight that I ran in today, which was perfect because it's about 38 degrees today.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of headwear personally.
Yeah, I guess I didn't say that, but yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, I usually always have something on my head.
It's like 20% of your body heat.
Yeah. So either a headband or a hat, or in the summer I wear my like a trucker style hat running just to keep the sun out of my eyes. It's a little bit harder to run with sunglasses on when you're trail running because there's so much varying light.
Yeah.
But definitely in the winter, I always keep something on my head and on my hands. And then, sometimes I'll take my gloves off for a minute to let them breathe. But yeah, those are some of my top faves. As well as I'm a big fan of buffs. I just love to wear them to stay cozy in general.
Yeah, they're good.
So I have a collection of buffs.
Right. I guess if it's like, I guess to just break it down, the like really cold weather. This is probably for like the Midwest, or not the Midwest. This is for the Northwest. It's so I would say I always think about this like when I was running in college. If it was like really cold, like -13, like had like your buff.
And no freaking way you'd find me out there running
Yeah.
at negative anything these days. Hell no.
Something to cover your face, like Vaseline, like you tuck your pants into your, this is definitely not the coldest weather
the
here.
only thing exposed are your eyeballs.
Yeah,
so
exactly, because it just hurts.
Just enough so you can see the trail.
Yeah, exactly. I know people who run in goggles. Yeah, so I mean,
I would probably do that if I lived there.
Yeah, I know. Like skateboarder, snowboarders, skiing goggles. That's great. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah. So what else is a good out the door motivator?
I mean, the hardest part, hands down, is getting out the door.
Yeah.
If you can just make that commitment, like, okay, I'm just going to go run for 15 minutes. Like,
yeah.
You'll find when you're out there, like, oh, geez, I've spent 15 minutes putting all this crap on. Well,
Right.
I better run a little bit longer than 15
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly.
And typically, you'll find your groove once you can do that. Me, since I am so soft these days, yeah, I ride my bike trainer quite a bit still for the days that it's just cold and gray and dark and I don't have the motivation to get out the door.
Yeah.
I almost always have at least enough motivation to ride my trainer. So, while cycling and running don't necessarily translate super well to each other, that's at least a great way to keep your fitness up. So, if you don't have the space for a big treadmill or something at home, you can very easily find a bike trainer on Craigslist or eBay or something and set that up, and that easily packs away. I mean, most people have a bike of some sort. If you don't, well, good luck finding one right now.
Yeah.
They've been quite the treat during the COVID times. But yeah, I utilize that as a tool.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of a cop out.
But cross training is important, and it's like it's very valuable too, like to keep from being injured. So I mean, I guess if it's terrible out, don't say like, oh, it's not running or it's not doing something. It is doing something.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Or if you live in an area where you can do something like Nordic skiing, I think for some reason in my brain it's much easier to go out skiing knowing it's going to be cold than go out running knowing it's going to be cold.
Right.
But yeah, during the weekdays especially, that's where I tend to struggle. But, you know, if you can just say, okay, well, 2 days a week I'm going to get out the door. Break it down into some smaller goals for yourself so you don't feel like a total failure. And maybe one day you do a 30-minute HIIT workout and then 30 minutes of yoga. That's going to be just as beneficial as going out for a 45-minute run.
Right.
Because A, you're still doing something and moving your body, and B, you're just being kind to yourself. And C, you don't need to do the same damn thing day in and day out. Like, that gets boring. So mix it up based on the season if you need to.
Right.
And just know that you don't need to be a cardio queen. I mean, yes, we both have developed.
We're saying this, but I would have a hard time with doing any of the things that she just said as well. So if you are feeling like that's not a thing for you, it's okay.
You know, it's in the last couple of years since my training goals have changed a lot.
Right. I want to get there, but not there.
Trust me, it was a very difficult transition. But and even some days it's like, okay, I'm so exhausted. And my husband has to remind me that, hey, take the night off. You don't have to go ride the trainer. You don't have to go run. Like, just go do some yoga. And that is actually what my body needs and what will help keep me fitter than going out and pushing it when, you know, if I'm tired, I'm going to have crappy form or something.
Oh, for sure,
Or it's just, there's no point in having just junk miles collecting on the clock. No. That's a waste of your time. And mentally, it's not really benefiting you.
Right.
So I think it's perfectly fine to try to adapt your training or your activity level based on the season.
Right. And it's not making you less tough either. Like, that's just being smart at that point. Like, I think that's a lot of the perception is, oh, if I don't do this, then I'm not pushing myself as hard, or I'm weak or something. And it's not about that. It's about being a more, being a smarter athlete. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, at that point.
Totally. Yeah. So you are by no means alone if you have a hard time getting out the door in the winter months. We all struggle with that, but so these are just some of our ideas of if you are going to get out, how to do it in the most effective way, and definitely interested to hear what other people do to fill those seasons of crap weather and low motivation.
Right. Yeah, me too. I think it would be interesting to see if, like, people are living in areas that maybe you don't really want to run in the dark around too. I mean, I would be interested to hear, like, what the other options would be. Like, if you're in a big city, like you said, that's icy or something like that you can't really go outside. And especially in COVID times right now. Interesting to hear.
And you can't just go, slog away on a treadmill at the gym or something. And fancy equipment's very expensive. And it takes up a lot of space. So if you have a small home or don't have space for that, definitely some barriers. But, I like to also write my strength workout. I dedicate 3 30-minute chunks during the week and to do strength training. And I just know, okay, 30 minutes, I know I can go crush myself in the garage for 30 minutes 3 times a week, and I write my workout on the whiteboard, and then I send it to my thread with a couple of friends on it. And so that's fun for me. I know then it's like, okay, they're holding me accountable because they're expecting this from me 3 days a week so that they can do it or not do it. But, I know they have that expectation and keeps me a little bit more motivated as well. So,
Yeah.
finding a little bit of a buddy system to stay accountable, having somebody to suffer with as needed, that also helps.
Our coach used to
Miss
say,
out the
like,
buddy.
our coach used to say, like, if you go out for 5 minutes and you still feel like crappy at the end of those 5 minutes, then you can go back.
Yeah.
But you'll find that you never feel that
Totally.
crappy.
You're like, I'm out here.
I might as well finish this run.
So let us know what you
Yes.
guys do,
Please do.
so we can share some other ideas with other folks who probably need them.
Yes, they do.
Thanks.